Highest praise, glory, and honor, and majesty only belongs to our dearest Jesus. Hallelujah. First of all, I'd like to thank dearest Jesus for bringing all of us here safely. Hallelujah. To our Wednesday midweek service. I thank dearest Jesus for the safe drive. Um, I thank dearest Jesus for all of the blessings that He has done to my life, to my family's life. Hallelujah. How He changed our life from living a worldly life from years ago, and then to now being used in His holy vineyard, even though we are not worthy. Hallelujah. I thank dearest Jesus for the talents that He gave me. Hallelujah. The knowledge, the wisdom to be able to play these instruments. It's truly such a great blessing, because I would remember back then when I was younger, when we would watch the TV program, I would just see the instrumentalists or even just the choir members just singing in the TV screen, and we just listen to, how angelic their voices is. Hallelujah. How you feel blessed seeing them to be able to sing like that, to be able to play like that. Hallelujah. I never thought of myself being in those position until year 2018. There's Jesus. He blessed us with the opportunity to be able to move to the United States, and then from then on we finally started. We found out there was an outreach in San Francisco where we moved, and then we visited. It was around 2 hours drive, and around that time, around those couple of months, couple of weeks, we were only able to attend Sundays, as you call it. We were only Sunday Christians around that time, and as much as we wanted to attend 3 times, we weren't able to because we were so young back then. We weren't able to drive, and we would just rely on our beloved Father to drive us there. And it is 2 hours away, and he would be tired from work. And then after a couple of months, after that one anniversary, we found out that our venue in San Francisco got moved to another venue, which was only 10 minutes away from our apartment. Hallelujah. I thank there's Jesus for that. And then since then, we're able to attend 3 times a week. Hallelujah. And then, blessings just started pouring. And there's Jesus called us, even though we are not worthy. Around that time, we weren't expecting anything. Hallelujah. We weren't even talking to, we weren't even talking to them about joining the choir or even joining the instrumentalists. Hallelujah. But it was all our dearest Jesus. Hallelujah. And when we started, I remember my parents, my mom, she would tell us to take music lessons or instrument lessons on whichever instrument that we were trying to play. And as we all know, those classes or lessons are pretty pricey or expensive. So we just told her that, we're just gonna have faith toward there's Jesus, that there's Jesus gonna be the one to give us the talent, hallelujah, the knowledge and wisdom that we will use to play for Him in His holy vineyard. And there's Jesus truly never fails. He did give us those talents, hallelujah, the knowledge and wisdom that we use now to play for Him, hallelujah. And I feel very blessed to have that opportunity, hallelujah, and also very blessed to be able to go to other outreaches and share the knowledge, the wisdom that dear Jesus has given me. Hallelujah. It's really such a great blessing. It feels really good. Hallelujah. And then I would also like to thank dear Jesus for my family's health. Hallelujah. For always healing our sickness, always healing our diseases. Hallelujah. Giving us good health. I remember when ever since I was a kid, I would get sick, and sometimes I would get really sick, but not to the point where we would go to the hospitals. Hallelujah. My mom would just, pray, and then cast it out. And then I thank there's Jesus because every time she does that, it always works. Hallelujah. I thank there's Jesus for that.
Man.
And then, and I also thank there's Jesus for all of the blessings. Hallelujah. I remember back then when we were still in the Philippines, we were living in a poverty life. We couldn't afford anything we wanted. We couldn't get the food that we wanted. Hallelujah. We'd have food, and then it would be the same food for about 3 weeks until we get a different type of food. Hallelujah. But there's Jesus. He blessed us so much that ever since then we started attending 3 times a week. Like I said, blessings started pouring. Hallelujah. There's Jesus blessed us with our own home. Hallelujah. There's Jesus bless us with multiple vehicles, hallelujah. We're not trying to bring our names up because I know all of those are authority. There's Jesus, hallelujah. We use those
Amen.
vehicles
Hallelujah.
to, to give transportations to those beloved, to other, to our beloved brethren who doesn't have a ride to go to church, hallelujah. I think there's Jesus for that we are also being used in that way, hallelujah. And I think there's Jesus that when I was in the Philippines, I never thought of, in the future, I thought our whole lives were just going to be there. I was already planning like how my life would end up, and I was still there. I never thought of, going to the United States, going to schools here, hallelujah, having a life here, having to work here, hallelujah. I never thought of that, but like people, like we say, our plans is, it's there's Jesus' plan is always better than our own plans, hallelujah, and it is really true. I think there's Jesus for all of the blessings in our lives. I think there's Jesus for giving us the comfort, being far away from our family. Sometimes I get sad because I miss them, but I think there's Jesus that He's there, giving me the comfort, the peace, and the joy in my heart, hallelujah. And then I think there's Jesus for my parents for always giving them the strength, the guidance for everyday lives, whenever they go to work, hallelujah, the safety whenever they drive, hallelujah, the safety whenever I drive. I have testified before. I've been to 2 car accidents, but as you guys can see, I'm still here in front of you testifying His goodness and mercies in my life, hallelujah. And I think there's Jesus for all the blessings, materially, financially, most of all spiritually, and I would just like to give all the highest praise, glory, and honor only belongs to our dear Jesus, hallelujah.